The starship Aurora Line drifted silently above a blue-green moon, its hull glowing with soft silver lights. Hundreds of passengers slept inside their quiet cabins, but one young human engineer, Evan Carter, was still awake, walking through the dim corridor with a small repair kit hanging by his side. He had just finished fixing a malfunctioning air pump on Deck 6 and was trying to return to his station before the night cycle fully activated. He rubbed his eyes, exhausted. "Just one more hour, then rest," he whispered to himself. But as he turned a corner, he froze. A faint sound echoed from the maintenance chamber ahead. Not the usual hum of machinery. Something softer, shaky, like someone sobbing. Evan frowned and stepped toward the door. The ship was supposed to be quiet at this hour. Passengers shouldn't be wandering here, and crew rarely came to this deck at night. He paused, listening again. Yes. Someone was crying. He tapped the panel to open the door, slowly, carefully. The lights flickered on at half brightness. The chamber looked empty at first glance, filled with pipes, glowing conduits, and a humming energy core in the center. But then he saw her. An alien girl, for sure a passenger, sat curled on the floor near the core, hugging her knees tightly. Her skin had a soft, silver-blue shade, almost luminous, and her long hair floated around her like she was underwater, responding to tiny energy particles in the room. She wore a traveler's dress, torn slightly at one sleeve, and her eyes were glowing with faint cyan light, eyes filled with fear. Evan stepped forward slowly. "Hey, are you okay?" The girl gasped sharply and jerked away, pressing her back against the wall. "Stop! Don't come closer!" Her voice trembled. She looked scared but not dangerous, more like someone who didn't understand where she was. Evan lifted both hands. "It's okay. I'm not here to hurt you. My name is Evan, engineer, ship crew. You're safe." She stared at him like she wasn't sure whether to trust him or run. Her glowing eyes darted to the ceiling, the floor, her own hands, as if everything was unfamiliar. "Where am I?" she whispered. "You're on the Aurora Line, passenger ship en route to the Zira cluster." She blinked again. Her fear didn't fade. Instead, she pressed a hand to her chest. My core hurts." "Core?" Evan repeated quietly. He didn't fully understand her physiology, but he knew different alien species had different energy systems. "Did something happen to you? Were you attacked? Did someone chase you here?" She shook her head rapidly. "No, I don't remember. I only remember a bright flash and then—" She closed her eyes tightly. "Everything feels wrong." Evan's expression softened. She looked young, not a child, but someone around his age. Her voice was fragile, her body trembling lightly. He decided not to question her too fast. Instead, he stepped closer slowly, keeping a calm tone. "Let me check if you're injured, okay? I won't touch you without permission." She looked at him again, and for a moment, her panic eased. "You're human?" "Yes." Her glowing eyes widened a little. "Humans are dangerous." Evan blinked. "What? Who told you that?" "My elders," she whispered. "They said humans have unstable energy, unpredictable. If we get too close, it can activate things in us." Evan had no idea what she meant, but he gave her a soft smile. "I promise I'm not dangerous." She studied his face, carefully, quietly, and her breathing steadied a little. Something about his calm voice seemed to reassure her. Finally, she nodded once. "You can come closer." Evan moved gently, crouching down beside her. "Okay, just tell me if anything hurts." She extended her arm hesitantly. Her skin glowed like moonlight, and her fingers trembled slightly. When Evan reached out, he hovered his hands without touching her first, letting her see that he was waiting. She swallowed hard. "You may touch, but slowly." He nodded. When his fingertips lightly brushed her forearm, the reaction was instant. A surge of bright cyan light pulsed through her skin, racing across her entire body in a wave. Her hair lifted, glowing even brighter, and her eyes snapped wide open. Her voice burst out, trembling with shock. "Human! What are you doing to me? My whole body just activated!" Evan jerked back immediately. I didn't do anything, I swear." But the girl wasn't angry. She looked terrified and shocked, staring at her own glowing hands as if they belonged to someone else. "It's happening. The activation. The elders said this shouldn't happen unless, her breath shook. Unless the human's energy resonates with mine." Evan blinked rapidly. "What does that mean?" I don't know," she cried, voice trembling. "I've never felt anything like this. My core is burning, my senses are too sharp, and your touch made it stronger." Evan raised his hands again. It's okay, just breathe. I won't touch you again." "Just calm down first." She nodded, trying to breathe, but every exhale sent faint pulses of light through her skin. After a few seconds, the glow softened, though it did not disappear. "This is impossible," she whispered. Evan hesitated. "Does this activation hurt you?" She shook her head slowly. "Not pain, just overwhelming. Like every cell in my body woke up at once." Evan let out a slow breath. "Okay, we can figure this out. But first, I should get you to the medical bay. The doctors there can diagnose what's happening." "No!" she shouted suddenly. Evan froze. She grabbed his sleeve, shaking her head rapidly. "Not the med bay. They will isolate me. Run tests. I don't want to be locked in a white room again." He frowned. "Again?" She looked away. "My species is rare. Scientists always want to study us." Now it made sense. Her fear, her panic, her hiding. Evan lowered his voice. "All right, I won't take you there. But you still need help." She looked at him again, eyes softening. "You would help me?" "Of course." "Even though I activated?" Evan tried to smile. "I don't even know what that means, so sure." For the first time, the alien girl gave a tiny, fragile smile. Her glowing hair settled slowly, floating down like shimmering strands of silk. "My name is Astra," she whispered. "I'm from the Lumeris tribe." "Astra," Evan repeated softly. "Nice to meet you." She nodded, then looked around nervously as if expecting someone to appear at any second. "We should not stay here. If the ship sensors detect my energy spike, someone will come." Evan understood immediately. She wasn't lying. The energy core chamber was highly monitored. Her activation pulse probably triggered at least one sensor. "Come on," he said. "I know a place where no one checks at night." Astra hesitated, then slowly stood up. Her legs wobbled, and Evan instinctively reached to steady her, but stopped halfway. Should I help?" She stared at his extended hand for a moment, then whispered, "Your touch activates me." Evan pulled back immediately. "Right. Sorry." But then Astra took a slow step forward, stumbled, then grabbed his wrist herself. Another burst of cyan light flashed, but this time she didn't collapse or panic. She stayed upright, gripping him tightly. "It's less frightening now," she whispered. "Still strong, but stable." Evan swallowed. "Does it hurt?" "No. It feels like warmth spreading through me." "Okay. Then hold on if it helps you walk." She nodded and held his wrist gently as they walked out of the chamber. The corridor was quiet, but Evan could already hear faint alarm beeps from the mechanical consoles nearby. Security systems noticed the energy spike for sure. They needed to move fast. Astra's steps were still unsteady, but she followed him closely. Her glowing hair created soft light that reflected on the metallic walls, making her look like she was floating. As they hurried past Deck 5, Astra whispered, You saved me. Evan blinked. I didn't do anything. You came when I was panicking. You stayed when my energy activated, and you didn't fear me. He looked at her. Why would I fear you? Astra lowered her voice. Because my tribe is considered dangerous. Evan shook his head. You don't look dangerous. Her cheeks glowed faintly, almost like she was blushing. They finally reached a maintenance room Evan often used to rest during long shifts. It wasn't big, but it was private. He locked the door and turned off the main lights. Only Astra's soft glow lit the room. She sat on the bench slowly, breathing deeply. Evan sat across from her. All right, let's figure out what's happening. Do you remember anything before you appeared in the energy chamber? Astra closed her eyes. I remember leaving my homeworld. Then everything turned dark. My pod malfunctioned. I think I was drifting. Then someone must have brought me aboard this ship. How long ago? I don't know, she whispered. But my pod shouldn't open unless a familiar energy touches it. A human opening it shouldn't be possible. Evan frowned. Maybe someone else helped you out before I arrived. She shook her head. No, I would have sensed them. Another wave of light pulsed faintly across her arms. Evan's voice softened. Astra, when you said your elders warned you about humans activating you. She interrupted softly. They said our energy cores are sensitive. If a human touches us, and if the resonance is strong enough, the core awakens, linking with the human's energy. Evan stared. Linking? Yes, she said quietly. A reaction that only happens once in a Lumeris's lifetime. He blinked. Why? What does the link do? Astra looked down, then whispered, almost afraid to say it. It binds our energy to the human who awakened us. Evan froze. What does that mean for you? Astra lifted her glowing eyes. It means I cannot separate from you now. Her voice trembled slightly. And if the wrong people find out, they will hunt both of us. Evan's heart pounded. Astra's breathing quickened as she met his eyes again. Evan, what is happening to me? Is something no Lumeris ever experienced with a human before? She placed a glowing hand on her chest. My body activated for you. Evan sat quietly in the dim maintenance room, the soft glow from Astra's skin lighting the walls with a pale blue shine. She breathed slowly, trying to calm the energy shaking inside her. Even though the activation had scared her deeply, she wasn't trembling anymore. She looked more confused than frightened now. Evan kept his distance, sitting on a separate bench, hands resting on his knees. He didn't dare touch her again. Astra finally whispered, I did not mean to trouble you. I do not want to pull a human into my strange destiny. You didn't trouble me, Evan said softly. You were scared and alone. Anyone would have helped. Her glowing eyes studied him quietly for a moment. Most humans would have run. I have seen vids about your kind. You avoid unknown things. Evan gave a tiny laugh. Well, maybe I'm the strange human then. Astra tilted her head, watching him like someone trying to understand a new creature. Yes, you are different. Silence settled between them, calm and soft. The ship hummed in the background. The glowing strands of Astra's hair floated gently in the air like shimmering water plants, responding to the energy inside her. After a long pause, she asked, Evan, what will happen now? That's what I'm trying to figure out, he said sincerely. We need answers. You don't know how you got here. Your activation shouldn't have happened. And now someone might be searching for you. Astra tightened her fingers around the edge of the bench. I do not want to be taken again. I do not want to be locked away. I won't let that happen, Evan said firmly. She blinked, clearly surprised by the strength in his voice. You promised this so quickly. We just met. Well, saving people is part of my job, he said, and I don't like seeing anyone scared. Astra's glowing cheeks warmed again, a faint bluish blush. Humans had pink blushes, but hers shimmered like bioluminescent light. She whispered, Evan, when you touched me earlier, I felt something strange. Not only activation, something deeper. He stiffened. Deeper? Like what? Astra hesitated. Like your energy was comforting. My core responded not only with shock, but relief. Evan blinked. Relief? Yes, she said softly, as if it had been waiting. For your presence. He had no idea how alien cores worked, but the thought of being linked to someone in such a deep way made his chest tighten with responsibility rather than fear. He didn't feel trapped. He felt determined to protect her. But before he could respond, the ship's distant announcement echoed through the deck. Attention! Unidentified energy spike detected. All crew remain alert. Astra's eyes widened. She grabbed Evan's sleeve tightly. They're looking for me, she whispered. It's okay, Evan said quickly. They don't know where you are yet. But he wasn't sure how long that would last. He stood up and began pacing. We need a plan. We have to move you somewhere even more secure. Astra's glow flickered nervously. I cannot hide forever. Not forever, Evan replied, just until we figure out your situation. She looked at him with uncertainty. Why would you risk so much for me? You don't even know who I am. Evan sighed. Because you're alone. Because someone put you in danger. And because your activation happened because of me. That makes you my responsibility. Astra stared, her breath catching lightly. No one has ever said I was their responsibility. Not in a kind way. Evan didn't know what her past looked like, but from the sorrow in her voice it couldn't have been gentle. Then Astra clutched her chest suddenly, gasping. A soft ripple of glowing cyan energy traveled across her skin. Evan stepped forward. Astra? What's happening? She shook her head rapidly. My core is reacting again. Because you're stressed. Your energy is rising, so mine is responding. Wait, my emotions affect your body? She squeezed her eyes shut. Yes. The link amplifies our energies. If you panic, I feel it. If you calm down, I can stabilize. Evan inhaled deeply and forced himself to relax. Gradually, her glow softened, returning to normal. She opened her eyes again. Better. Much better. Sorry, he said. I'm still learning how this works. It is not your fault, Astra whispered. This connection is ancient and forbidden. My elders feared it because it was said to change destinies. Change destinies? Evan repeated. She nodded slowly. A Lumeris who activates from a human touch becomes bound to that human's energy. Their paths become linked. Wherever the human goes, the Lumeris follows. Evan absorbed that. So, you're stuck with me? Astra looked at him gently, not sad, not angry, just accepting. Yes. Evan let out a breath. Then I'll make sure nothing bad happens to you. Her eyes softened. You say such things with confidence. It makes my core settle. But suddenly, a loud pounding echoed from the hallway. Bang! 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 Both of them froze. A robotic security voice followed. Maintenance room 32B, please respond. Energy signature detected in your vicinity. Astra's glow spiked again, anxiety flaring. Evan whispered urgently, Don't move. Stay behind the storage crates. She nodded, moving quickly but silently. Her glowing body dimmed slightly, as if she was trying to suppress her energy. Evan stepped to the door, pressed the speaker button, and forced his voice to sound normal. Engineer Evan Carter here. No anomalies inside, just performing equipment check. The robotic voice replied, Energy reading persists. Prepare for manual inspection. Evan's eyes widened. They were coming in. He turned, whispering sharply, "Astra, hide!" She crouched behind the crates, hugging her knees tightly. Her hair curled inward to minimize glowing. She looked terrified. Evan grabbed a loose wiring panel, ripped it open, and started pretending to fix something. The door slid open. 2 security robots hovered inside, scanning the room with bright red lights. "State your purpose." Evan kept his back relaxed. "Routine repair. Energy spikes might be from a malfunctioning conduit." The robots scanned the area again. Astra held her breath. Her glow flickered once. A faint cyan pulse reflected on the crate's edge. One robot shifted toward the crates. Evan's pulse spiked. Astra felt it instantly. Her glow brightened involuntarily. The robot paused. "Unidentified energy detected." Evan stepped in front of it fast. "Probably stray charge from an overload earlier. I can handle it." "Step aside. Protocol requires full inspection." If they found Astra, she would be taken away, examined, locked up. Evan didn't think, he acted. He snapped the conduit in his hands, creating a burst of sparks. "Damn it! The whole panel's unstable, power readings are bouncing everywhere." The robots jerked back, sensors flashing. "Sparking hazard detected, temporary retreating." They floated toward the hall. "Report any additional spikes," the robot said, then exited. The door slid shut. Astra exhaled shakily, her entire body glowing again from panic. Evan put a finger to his lips. "Shh. It's okay. They're gone." She crawled out slowly, still trembling. "You protected me. Of course. You could have been punished for lying to security." "I know." Astra's eyes softened again, deeply emotional. "Why do you keep helping me? My presence only brings danger." Evan shrugged lightly. "Maybe I'm stubborn. Maybe I just don't like seeing anyone treated as a threat when they're scared." Astra let out a soft breath. "Your energy, it's warm. It reaches me even without touch." Evan rubbed the back of his neck awkwardly. "So what now? We can't stay here." Astra nodded. "You're right. Security will return." Evan thought for a moment. "There's an old emergency storage room on Deck 12. No sensors, no patrols. Hardly anyone even knows it exists." "Then we go there," Astra said firmly, "before they track us again." Evan grabbed a small pack and opened the door quietly. He peeked outside. Clear. "Stay close behind me," he whispered. Astra followed, her hair glowing faintly as she walked. They moved through shadowed hallways, staying near maintenance ducts and emergency ladders to avoid main corridors. Every time Evan tensed, Astra felt it, and her glow brightened. But then Evan would calm himself, and she would stabilize again. Their energies were becoming synchronized without them realizing. When they reached the lift to Deck 12, Astra suddenly stopped and grabbed Evan's sleeve. "Wait!" "What's wrong?" She closed her eyes, sensing something. "There is another presence. Someone is searching for me." Evan felt a chill run down his back. "Security again?" "No," she whispered. "Someone who knows me, someone from my species." Evan's eyes widened. "Someone from your tribe is here?" Astra shook her head. "No. This presence feels different. Familiar, but dangerous." Footsteps echoed from the corridor behind them. Astra's glow flared. Evan stepped between her and the sound. A tall shadow appeared at the end of the corridor, moving with slow, deliberate steps. Astra gasped. "No, it can't be." Evan whispered, "Who is that?" Astra's voice trembled. "That is a Lumeris hunter." Evan felt his heart pound hard. She whispered again, barely audible. "He came to take me back." The figure stepped into the faint light, revealing shimmering markings similar to Astra's, but darker, sharper, and pulsing with power. Astra whispered, "Evan, run!" But Evan stepped in front of her, refusing. No, I'm not leaving you. Power crackled around the hunter's arms. His voice echoed like thunder. Human, step aside. She belongs to our tribe. Astra shook her head in desperation. No, I do not belong to you anymore. The hunter glared. Evan clenched his fists. The hunter lifted his glowing hand, and the corridor lights flickered violently. Astra cried out, Evan, be careful! If he touches me, my core will collapse! Evan stood firm. The hunter raised his arm to strike. Evan grabbed Astra's hand instinctively. A massive surge of light exploded from her body. The hunter staggered backward, shocked. Astra gasped, staring at her own glowing form. Evan, our link just awakened a second stage. Evan held her steady as her glow intensified. The hunter whispered in disbelief. Impossible. A human triggered her core ascension. Astra turned to Evan, trembling. What is happening to me is something even the elders never predicted.